Good morning, students. Yesterday we had completed a relation between Ka and Kb. That is, ionization constants of conjugate pair Ka and Kb. If multiplied, then we get Kw. One question we will do based on that formula, and then we will move towards hydrolysis of salts. Question number 7.43. Ionization constant of HF, hydrofluoric acid, HCOOH, formic acid, HCN, hydrocyanic acid. Question number 7.43. All three are weak acids. Their ionization constants are given as 6.8, 10 raised to power minus 4, 1.8, 10 to power minus 4, and 4.8, 10 to power minus 9, respectively. Calculate the ionization constants of corresponding conjugate base. One I'll do for you, other two you have to do in homework. So 7.43, first acid given as HF, and its ionization constant 6.8, 10 to power minus 4. Acid is HF, hydrofluoric acid, and its ionization constant given as 6.8, 10 to power minus 4. Hydrofluoric acid, HF, hydroiodic acid, HI. HF वीक है, बाकी HCl, HBr और HI स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड होते हैं, और जो भी वीक एसिड्स होते हैं उनके आयनाइजेशन कांस्टेंट्स होते हैं. सो HF is weak acid, its ionization constant is given. We have to determine Kb of F minus, which is conjugate base. हर एसिड का conjugate base होता है. तो HF एसिड है तो उसका conjugate base क्या होगा? F minus. We have to calculate Kb of F minus. Now we know that Ka multiplied by Kb is equals to Kw. So Kb will be Kw by Ka. What is Kw? 1 into 10 to the power minus 14. It is constant. Ionic product of water. Product of concentrations of ions of water. Fix होता है 298 Kelvin पे. That is 1 multiplied 10 to the power minus 14. What is Ka? It's 6.8, 10 raised to the power minus 4. If you solve it, you will get the answer. 10 by 68 into 10 raised to the power, it would be minus 10. So 0 point something and 10 to the power minus 10 is the ionization constant of conjugate base. Just we want to recall the formula that Ka into Kb is always equal to Kw, that is ionic product of water. That is for conjugate pair, है ना? HF का conjugate base क्या है? F minus, तो उसी का निकलेगा. ऐसे नहीं कि ionization constant is given for HF and we are calculating NH4 plus Kb. No, it's not so. Conjugate pair જ લેવાનું છે. જે acid હોય એનું જ conjugate base હોય. બેઓના Ka, Kb, their product is 10 to the power minus 14. Now we move towards one more topic of the chapter, and that is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis of salts. Important है, ध्यान से देखिए पढ़िए. Hydrolysis of salts. What do you mean by hydrolysis of salts? You know, salts are made up of acid and base. Acid base combine, neutralization reaction takes place, and we get salt and water. So salts are made up of acid and base. When salt dissolved in water, either their cation or anions undergo hydration or they undergo hydrolysis, depending upon the nature of salt. Suppose हमारे पास है NaCl, सोडियम क्लोराइड, ये एक सॉल्ट है. तो अगर आप इसको पानी में डिसॉल्व करेंगे तो it will dissociate into ions. Which ions will be formed? Na plus Cl minus. तो either these ion Na plus and Cl minus will undergo hydration or they will undergo hydrolysis. Hydration हमें पता है. What is hydration? Around cation and anion, water molecules get surrounded, energy will be released, process is called hydration, and released energy is called hydration enthalpy. थर्मोडायनेमिक्स में भी पढ़ा था और एक चैप्टर में पढ़ा था हाइड्रेशन एंथैल्पी. ये जो Na प्लस और Cl माइनस आयन सेपरेट हुए हैं, these ions surrounded by water molecules, process is called hydration. So either these ions undergo hydration or they undergo hydrolysis. What is hydrolysis? Hydrolysis is they react with water. These cation or anion, they interact with the ions produced by the water. पानी के आयंस के साथ रिएक्शन करते हैं और उसकी वजह से या तो सॉल्ट का सोल्यूशन एसिडिक होता है या बेसिक होता है या न्यूट्रल होता है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द सॉल्ट. जैसे सोडियम क्लोराइड को अगर मैं पानी में डिसॉल्व करूं, उसका सोल्यूशन बना, लिटमस पेपर डिप करो, भले ब्लू करो अथवा रेड, नीदर ब्लू टर्न टू रेड नॉर रेड टर्न टू ब्लू. मतलब solution of NaCl in water is neutral. Suppose I am having solution of sodium acetate salt, and if I dissolve it in water and if I dip red litmus paper, it will turn to blue. मतलब solution is basic. Suppose मैं ammonium chloride का solution बना के litmus paper dip करूं तो blue turn red means acidic. So some salts are acidic, some salt solutions are basic और कुछ neutral होते हैं. So depending upon the nature of salt, hydrolysis takes place. So what is hydrolysis actually? Hydrolysis is interaction of cation or anion of the salt with ions of water. That is called hydrolysis. First we'll write the definition. What is hydrolysis? It is a process in which cation that is positive ion or anion or both, sometimes dono or both interact with ions produced by water. This process is called hydrolysis. So hydrolysis is a process in which either cation or anion or sometimes both, they interact with the ions produced by the water. Which ions produced by water? H plus and OH minus. So they interact with ions produced by water. Process is known as hydrolysis. And due to that interaction, either solution will be acidic or basic or neutral. क्लियर? अब कौन से आयंस हाइड्रेशन करते हैं, कौन से आयंस हाइड्रोलिसिस करेंगे, which ions undergo hydrolysis and which ions undergo hydration? तो ions of strong acid and strong base जैसे Na plus, K plus, Ba2 plus, है ना, these are ions produced from strong base. NaOH, KOH, barium hydroxide, strong base हैं. तो स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस के जो आयंस होते हैं वो हमेशा हाइड्रेशन करते हैं, दे वोंट अंडरगो हाइड्रोलिसिस. सिमिलरली एनायंस ऑफ स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड्स जैसे Br माइनस, Cl माइनस, I माइनस, NO3 माइनस, है ना, SO4 2 माइनस, they never ClO4 माइनस, they won't undergo hydrolysis, they undergo hydration. So cations of a strong base, ये क्या है? They are cations of strong base. Base क्या होते हैं? NaOH, KOH, barium hydroxide, they are bases. So Na plus is the cation of NaOH, K plus cation of KOH, Ba2 plus cation of barium hydroxide. So cations of a strong base, they do not undergo hydration. They undergo hydration, they won't undergo hydrolysis. They won't interact with the ions produced by the water. फिर ये जो anions अपन ने लिखे, ये strong acids के anions हैं. These are anions of strong acid. Strong acids HCl, उसका anion Cl minus. Strong acid HBr, anion is Br minus. Strong acid HI, its anion is I minus. Strong acid HNO3, NOI and NO3 minus. આ બધા જેટલા anions લેખા છે બધી કોણ છે? Anions of strong acid. So cations of strong base, anions of strong acid never undergo hydrolysis. એ લોકો hydrolysis ના કરે. તો કયા cation anion hydrolysis કરશે? The cations of weak bases, anions of weak acids, they will undergo hydrolysis. They interact with ions produced by water, and as a result, either the solution will be acidic, basic, or neutral. So I hope now you understood what is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is interaction of cation and anion of salt with ions of water. Either these ions will undergo hydration or they undergo hydrolysis. Kaya ions hydration kare? Strong acid is strong base na cation anion hoy, they undergo hydration, or weak acid, weak bases na cation anion, they undergo hydrolysis. Now we'll see some examples, 3 types of examples. First one is salt of weak acid, strong base. Salt of weak acid and strong base. Weak acid जैसे acidic acid or strong base NaOH. For example, weak acid is acidic acid and strong base is NaOH. और उसका salt कौन होगा? CH3COONA. नाम है सोडियम एसिटेट. So sodium acetate is a salt of weak acid and strong base. So first we are talking about hydrolysis of salts of weak acid and strong base. एक ही नहीं बनता, बहुत सारे salts बनते हैं, बहुत सारे weak acids हैं. Formic acid weak acid है. Strong base will be NaOH, KOH, HCN. They all are strong base. So all the salts made up of weak acid and strong base we are talking about. But we took one example, that is CH3COONA, sodium acetate. How it undergo hydrolysis? એનો hydrolysis શું થાય? Hydrolysis પછી reaction no solution acidic થાય કે basic થાય? Let's see. Clear? So now we are studying hydrolysis of sodium acetate, that is salt of weak acid and strong base. So CH3COONA made up of weak acid CH3COOH and strong base NaOH. अब जब ये सोडियम एसिटेट पानी में डिसॉल्व करते हैं तो आयंस प्रोड्यूस करेगा. कौन से आयंस? एसिटेट आयन, Na plus ions. When salt, sodium acetate, dissolves in water, it forms ions. Acetate ion and Na plus ions. Now this salt is made up of weak acid and strong base. We know a strong base completely ionized. तो NaOH तो complete ionization करेगा, लेकिन जो weak acid है वो partially ionized होता है. CH3COOH partially ionized to give CH3COO minus ions. Now out of these two, cation and anion, which will undergo hydrolysis? Acetate ion will undergo hydrolysis because acetate ion is an ion of weak acid. I told you earlier, cations of a strong base do not hydrolyze. Only an ion of weak acid undergo hydrolysis. Okay, so CH3COO minus when undergo hydrolysis, मतलब it combine with the ions of water. माइनस है तो पानी के कौन से आयंस के साथ इंटरेक्ट करेगा? H+ के साथ. वाटर के कौन से आयंस के साथ इंटरेक्ट करेगा? H प्लस के साथ, H प्लस के साथ अगर ये इंटरेक्ट करेगा तो क्या बनेगा, CH3COOH, और कौन सा आयन रहेगा, OH माइनस. This reaction is known as hydrolysis reaction. Interaction of water and the cation or anion produced by the salt process is called hydrolysis. So this reaction is the last reaction we had written, that is known as hydrolysis. Why not Na plus undergo hydrolysis? Because Na plus is the cation of a strong base. It won't undergo hydrolysis. જે weak acid નું anion છે, acetate ion, ઈ પાણીના આયન સાથે ઇન્ટરેક્ટ કરે તો કયા આયન સાથે ઇન્ટરેક્ટ કરે, પોતે નેગેટિવ છે, H plus સાથે ઇન્ટરેક્ટ કરે, શું બનાવે, CH3COOH, OH minus will remain. And due to increase in the concentration of OH minus, the solution will be basic. कैसा होगा solution? Basic होगा. Solution will be basic due to increase in the concentration of OH minus. Hydrolysis की वजह से OH minus की concentration बढ़ जाएगी, क्योंकि पानी का जो H plus आयन है वो तो एसिटेट के साथ कंबाइन हो गया, तो बचा कौन, OH minus. OH minus की वजह से सॉल्यूशन बेसिक होता है. तो अगर अपन सोडियम एसिटेट के सॉल्यूशन को पानी में, सोडियम एसिटेट सॉल्ट को पानी में डिसॉल्व करें, and then if you will dip blue litmus paper in it, no change. If we dip red litmus paper, it will turn to blue. Means the solution is basic. We पूछे why it is basic? Due to hydrolysis. Because of the hydrolysis of acetate ion, OH minus concentration increase and the solution is basic. ये जो reaction अपन ने लिखी उसको बोलते हैं hydrolysis reaction. इसमें भी equilibrium establish होता है. उसके equilibrium constant को KH से denote करते हैं, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, hydrolysis constant. क्या बोलते हैं, hydrolysis constant. और क्या होगा इसका वैल्यू hydrolysis constant का, concentration of product, that is acetic acid, concentration of OH minus upon concentration of acetate ion, and water तो constant होता है इसलिए हम उसको नहीं लिखते. So KH is acetic acid OH minus upon acetate ion. Reversible है ना reaction. So equilibrium will be established. Equilibrium constant for hydrolysis reaction is known as hydrolysis constant, which is given by KH. And if we derive the relation, not given in the book, that's why I'm not deriving. Otherwise, this KH will be equals to KW upon KA. How to calculate KH? KW by KA. What is KW? Ionic product of water. 1 into 10 to the power minus 14. What is Ka? It is ionization constant of weak acid, that is acetic acid. So we can calculate its concentration. Clear? Same degree of hydrolysis होता है. जैसे अपन ने पढ़ा था degree of what we call degree of ionization of weak acid, degree of ionization of weak base. वैसे degree of hydrolysis होता है alpha, and that is equal to under root of KH upon C. What is C? C is the initial concentration of salt. Alpha is under root of KH by C. जैसे होता है ना, alpha is under root of Ka upon C. For base, alpha equal root of Kb by C. So for salt, if we are talking about, the degree of hydrolysis alpha is under root of KH upon C. Okay. If you want to calculate pH of such solution, how to determine pH? pH કેવી રીતના find થશે આ solutions નું? Basic છે તો એનો pH તો ગોતવું પડે ને. pH more than 7 આવશે, but how to find out? કેવી રીતના कैसे calculate करोगे आप pH? तो उसके लिए फॉर्मूला क्या होगा देखिए. इसका और इसका कॉन्सेंट्रेशन सेम होगा, इसीलिए हम इसको ऐसे लिखेंगे KH equals OH minus square upon C. This is initial concentration of salt. So here we can put KW by KA. That is equal to OH minus square upon C. So OH minus concentration will be under root of KW by KA into C. बस यहां से आप OH निकालोगे, OH से आप POH निकालोगे और POH से आप pH निकालोगे. बैक साइड एक्सरसाइज क्वेश्चंस आगे गिवन, तो सॉल्व तो करना पड़ेगा ना. टेक्स्ट बुक में फॉर्मूलाज डिराइव नहीं है, but questions are given backside in exercise. So just remember the formula. KH is KW by KA. What is KH? Hydrolysis constant. Degree of hydrolysis. And this way we can calculate hydroxide ion concentration. On the basis of that, we can determine pH. Clear, students? This is hydrolysis of salt of weak acid and strong base. Now, second, we are talking about hydrolysis of salt of strong acid and weak base. Second is hydrolysis of salt of weak base and strong acid. Weak base ले रहे हैं NH4OH और strong acid HCl. What is salt produced by them? NH4Cl. So we are talking about hydrolysis of NH4Cl, ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is a salt of weak base and strong acid. अब देखते हैं when this salt undergo hydrolysis, then what type of solution is formed? Whether it is acidic, basic or neutral. કેવું બને જોવાનું આપણે. કયું આયન એમાંથી હાઇડ્રોલિસિસ કરશે? અમોનિયમ આયન અથવા ક્લોરાઇડ આયન. સपोज NH4Cl को अगर अपन पानी में डिसॉल्व करें, कौन से आयन्स देगा? NH4 plus Cl minus. Ammonium ion and chloride ion. Out of these two, now which ion will undergo hydrolysis? Is it ammonium ion which undergo hydrolysis or chloride ion? कयो ion hydrolysis करसे? तो chloride ion is a salt of strong acid, an ion of a strong acid. It won't undergo hydrolysis. मैंने आपको बोला था weak acid, weak base के ions हमेशा hydrolysis करते हैं. तो NH4 plus undergo hydrolysis, interact with the water. वाटर में कौन से आयंस के साथ इंटरेक्ट करेगा? OH के साथ, क्योंकि पॉजिटिव है. क्या बनाएगा? NH4OH और H plus अलग हो जाएगा. Due to this H plus, the solution is acidic. तो जब भी आप अमोनियम क्लोराइड को पानी में डिसॉल्व करोगे, सॉल्यूशन हमेशा एसिडिक होगा. अमोनियम क्लोराइड पानी में डिसॉल्व करके फिर आप उसमें ब्लू लिटमस पेपर डिप करो, किस में टर्न हो जाएगा? वो रेड में. मतलब solution of ammonium chloride salt is acidic in nature. Clear? All the salts made up of strong acid and weak base are acidic because they are given H plus ions. इसके लिए भी ये भी हाइड्रोलिसिस रिएक्शन है, तो इसका भी हाइड्रोलिसिस कांस्टेंट क्या होगा? That is concentration of NH4OH, concentration of H plus upon concentration of ammonium ion. And as they are present in 1:1 ratio, their concentrations will be same. So we can write it as H plus squared upon NH4 plus. And here the KH, hydrolysis constant, will be Kw upon Kb. Why Kb? Because this time base is weak. What is NH4 plus? This is initial concentration of salt. NH4 plus is C, and that is initial concentration of salt. Concentration of salt. So from this also we can calculate pH. इस टाइप के अगर solutions का pH अपन को निकालना है, तो how to write, how to find out? By this formula. First we'll calculate H plus, फिर H plus से अपन क्या निकाल सकते हैं? pH directly. इसकी जगह पर C लिख दीजिए आप, initial concentration. So this would be H plus square upon C. Use this formula. This is constant. Kb will be given to you. C will be given to you. We can calculate H plus. H plus मिलेगा, उससे आप pH निकाल लेना. Negative log of H plus ions. So all the salts of weak acid and strong bases are always acidic in nature because they give H plus ions. Now we are talking about third type of salts. Salts of weak acid and weak base. Third, salts of weak acid and weak base. That is weak acid acetic acid, weak base NH4OH, और इनसे जो सॉल्ट बनेगा वो कौन सा होगा CH3 COO NH4. Now CH3 COO NH4 ionized to give acetate ion, ammonium ion. Acetate ion, ammonium ion. All salts dissolved in water and they produce ions. Cation is NH4 plus, anion is CH3 COO minus. Now which cation or anion will interact this time? Both. કેમ બે? અત્યાર સુધી તો એક જ interact થતું હતું. આમાં કેમ બે hydrolysis કરે? Because CH3 COO minus is anion of weak acid and NH4 plus is cation of weak base. तो मैंने आपको बोला था weak acid और weak base दोनों के cation और anion interact करते हैं. तो यहाँ पे दोनों ions interact करेंगे. CH3 COO minus NH4 plus both interact with the ions of water. ये H plus के साथ कंबाइन होगा एसिटिक एसिड बना लेगा. ये आपका OH के साथ कंबाइन होगा NH4OH बना लेगा. Now depending upon the concentrations of these two, either the solution will be acidic, basic or neutral. Suppose આનું concentration વધારે હોય તો acidic હશે. આનું concentration વધારે હશે તો basic. અને બેઓના concentration same હશે, then they will neutral. So all the salts made up of weak acid and weak base, depending upon the weak acid and weak base's concentrations, either the solution will be acidic, basic or neutral. इनका hydrolysis constant होता है Kw upon K into KBBr. Why? क्योंकि acid भी weak है, base भी weak है, तो ionization constant weak acid का भी आएगा, ionization constant weak base का भी आएगा. So Kw is Ka upon Kb. The pH of such salts that are made up of strong acid and weak acid and weak base can be write down with the formula 7 plus pKa minus pKb. pH equals 7 plus half of pKa pKb. What is pKa? Minus log of Ka. What is pKb? Minus log of Kb. So pH is calculated by this formula. If pKa will be more, then the solution will be pH will be more than 7 plus છે ને વચ્ચે આ વધારે હશે તો pH 7 કરતા વધારે આવશે એટલે solution will be acidic અને આ વધારે હશે તો solution will be basic. So depending upon the ionization constants of weak acid and weak base, we can say that either solution is acidic, basic or neutral. So all the salts that are made up of weak acid and weak bases, either they will be acidic or they will be basic or they will be neutral depending upon the degree of hydrolysis, degree of ionization. Clear? Suppose कभी आपसे पूछा कि what type of salt is FeCl3? If FeCl3 dissolved in water, solution will be acidic, basic or neutral. कैसे पता लगाए? तो बड़ा लंबा चौड़ा प्रोसेस करेंगे? नहीं. कैसे करेंगे? Dissociate it into ion Fe3 plus Cl minus. This is derived from acid. This is from base. Obvious है ना? एक base होगा, एक acid होगा, तभी तो salt बना है. Find out कौन सा base है और कौन सा acid है उस salt में. FeCl3 में acid कौन सा है? HCl. Base कौन सा है? FeOH thrice. अब आपको पता होना चाहिए कौन सा स्ट्रॉन्ग है, कौन सा वीक है. तो HCl इज स्ट्रॉन्ग, दिस इज वीक. हमेशा कैरेक्टरिस्टिक स्ट्रॉन्ग का आता है. So this type of salt is acidic in nature because this is a salt of strong acid, weak base. Hence it is acidic in nature. कभी ऐसे पूछा HCOONA, इस सॉल्ट को अगर पानी में डिसॉल्व करेंगे तो पीएच क्या आएगा? सोडियम फॉर्मेट, HCOONA. It is a salt. When it dissolved in water, either solution is acidic, basic or neutral. Whether pH is more than 7, less than 7 or equal to 7. How can we identify? Find out karo. By which acid and base they are formed? This is formed from formic acid and OH. Acid is weak, base is strong. If acid is weak and base is strong, then obvious the solution will be basic. For basic solution, the pH will be more than 7. So कोई भी salt आपको दिया हो, just try to find out that salt is made up of weak acid or strong base, strong acid or weak base, strong acid, strong base. किससे बना है वो पता करो. And then we can easily find out what type of solution formed by that salt. For example, suppose we have KCl. Salt is KCl. इसका pH कितना होगा? तो this is made up of KOH base, HCl acid. KOH base, HCl acid. ये भी strong है, ये भी strong है. दोनों ही strong होते हैं, तो solution कैसा होता है? Neutral. So this solution is neutral and its pH will be 7. So hydrolysis of salts means the ions produced by water interact with ions produced from the salt, cation or anion, or sometimes both. जैसे अगर there is a salt of weak acid, weak base, it interact with both. Suppose there is a salt of strong acid, strong base, एक ही cation anion interact नहीं करे. So hydrolysis means interaction of ions produced by salt from ions produced by water. That is called hydrolysis. And as a result of hydrolysis, either the solution will be acidic, basic or neutral. जैसे अपन को फॉर्मूला जो लिखा उसको यूज करना हो तो कैसे कर सकते हैं? आपको दिया कि कैलकुलेट pH of HCOONH4 plus. It is given that pKa of HCOOH 5.76, pKb of NH4OH 4.74. Find out pH. कैसे निकालेंगे? pH will be equals to 7 plus half pKa minus pKb. Put up the values. What is pKa? 5.76, 4.74, half, minus करो, 1.02, so it's 7.0.51. So answer will be 7.51. 7.51 means more than 7. If pH is more than 7, then the solution will be basic in nature. Because it is salt of weak acid, weak base, so solution will be basic क्योंकि इसमें base का जो concentration है वो या dissociation constant है वो कम है और pKb का value कम है इसीलिए. ठीक है? In next class we will do some numericals based on hydrolysis and hydrolysis constants. Okay students, take care.